My name is Rebecca Gottlieb, and today we're going to be talking about using QR codes in the classroom. So you're probably familiar with a QR code. It's a kind of barcode, and it can be scanned from top to bottom instead of just from left to right like a standard barcode, so it can hold a lot more information. You can hold all sorts of kinds of information in a barcode. You can have it direct to an app. You can have it direct to a link, a web page, a PDF, all sorts of different kinds. So QR stands for a quick response code. And like I said, you're probably familiar with QR codes. They're used a lot in marketing and advertising, as it can be helpful to provide consumers with more information than they're able to easily see on a advertisement. So first, if you want to use a QR code in your classroom, you're going to need to be able to make one. So there are lots of different websites and apps available, and we'll be reviewing some of those soon. But this is a website called QR Code Generator, and there are hundreds of different kinds of options that you can do for websites. This is not the only one. So first, you're going to input your data type, and so like I said, you can hold all sorts of different pieces of information in a QR code. You can have it redirect to a website, a video, an audio recording, an image, PDF files, event calendars, all sorts of kinds of input. And then you're going to move over to your content. And so if it's a website, you're going to input the website URL. If you want it to relink to an attachment, you'll attach it there. And there are two different kinds of encoding options for content URLs. You can do a static or a dynamic option, and as you are probably able to gather from the names, a static QR code is not going to ever change what it is linked to. In a dynamic QR code, you're going to be able to update, so things like a Google form that students provide feedback to, or a class calendar where you're constantly updating that to keep students up to date. That would be a dynamic code. Then you're able to design how you want your QR code to look. And then you will move over to your output type. So you're able to print them if you want to physically put your QR codes around the classroom. You're able to email them to students if they were absent in class but still need to access the same material. Super easy. So once you have your QR code generated, you'll need to be able to read the QR code. So any sort of photo imaging device is going to be able to read a QR code as long as it has the appropriate software installed. There are hundreds of different apps on the Apple or Android App Store. Google Chrome also now has a QR reader app for laptops. Tablets are able to QR code as well. So you probably have one of these available for you in your classroom. So once you have the appropriate software, you will point your camera at the QR code, and it will automatically scan and load you to the content that you have it redirected to. So Crafter is an app that I really like because it's a QR code reader as well as a generator, so your students are going to be able to create their own if they wanted to do that. And then I also really like the QR Reader for iPad app, and this is because with this app you are able to convert your any information that you gather from the QR code into a PDF and save that for yourself. So if students wanted to get notes or something from a website activity that you had them do, they'd be able to do that and save it. So there are so many different uses for QR codes in the classroom. Classroom management can be assisted by using QR codes. For example, students can scan a code that links them to a Google form that can be automatically generated into a spreadsheet for you, and that's going to help you keep track of tardies or missed assignments or even bathroom breaks if that's becoming an issue for you. You're able to differentiate instruction by providing audio support for students who struggle with content mastery because of reading comprehension issues. So that's going to be really helpful for English language learner students. You're also able to use QR codes to reinforce classroom procedures by providing easily accessible instructions to students when they're working in centers, or helping you with keeping track of checking out books from your classroom library, or even collecting parent information during Meet the Teacher Night. And then, as we mentioned earlier, this can really help with content mastery because it's making your lessons more engaging and interactive, which students are going to be more invested in. And you can also do things like provide extension assignments by having students scan a QR code in the corner of a worksheet. And it's going to be more engaging because it's adding a multimedia content aspect to a static display. And so students are really going to like this. It's going to help with their 21st century skills. It's integrating technology, and QR codes are also very efficient. So this can help cut down on valuable transition time. So these are some of the ways that QR codes have been used in a language arts classroom. You could put the QR code on the books physically and have that linked to a student-assigned book trailer, so students are able to check out books that other students have reviewed before reading them. And so this teacher here has an interactive wall display where students are able to scan that and find out more about their books. So I thought that was really nice for a language arts classroom. And then here is an example of use in a science class. So we do the standard compare and contrast thinking map, but then on the side, you're able to learn more about specific examples of the differences between viruses and bacteria by scanning a QR code and being directed to some sort of website or video or a link. And then as well, this will give you examples. So as you can see, there are many different uses for QR codes in classrooms. We can do scavenger hunts with them. Meet the Teacher Night. You can have parents go around and scan a QR code for their particular child and make it individualized for them. And just a quick Google search will bring you to blogs with hundreds of different ideas for QR codes in the classroom. So I would highly recommend looking at that, as well as the TED Talk on using QR codes in the classroom. Thank you for your time.